Well, hello YouTube. JT from Serenity Farms Prepping here with Beer Virus Precautions Part 2. Alright. So, in Part 1, we went over all the gear that I currently have, use, and plan on having available for potential beer virus contamination and any other thing that could happen during SHTF. We had mentioned in that I had the Tyvek suit and that I would have gloves, duct tape, another set of gloves, more duct tape, my goggles, my head was covered, the mask, which I didn't want to open any of those because I want them to stay uncontaminated, so I just used a cheapo one that I use when I'm cleaning out the barn for dust and stuff for dramatic effect. Okay, this is what I plan to have available for anybody who gets sick after we've all had an SHTF and the group is cohabitating together in very close quarters. We'll not be sure what anyone actually has after an SHTF because unless we have a doctor in our group and appropriate medical testing kits and facilities, it's going to be hard to tell if someone has a common cold or something much more serious. Obviously, if someone has a physical injury such as a broken leg or a cut or something, yeah, we know what that is, and we have to be cognizant for an infection and fever and stuff that could develop from that if we don't stay on it. But the signs, symptoms are quite different for someone who's coming down with something such as a beer virus, which after an SHTF in my communities here, that's not really something that I'm going to be concerned about in my group because we're going to be extremely isolated from any other population that may be left out there. So, part 1 of the beer virus precaution video was going over the gear, showing you the gear. Okay, so now that we've seen the gear, it's gorgeous out today, I'm starting to sweat. So, what would be the precautions that we should be taking right now on a daily basis while we have all the normal things around us that we normally do? Pre-SHTF, okay? We're washing our hands, okay? We wash our hands from the wrists down, if possible. Clean them off, shake them off. You wash them this way under the sink. You tilt up, it runs down. We might wipe it on our leg. We just, if there's contaminants in it, we're carrying it around with us. Start from the wrists down. Shake them out. Do not use the handheld dryers, or the air dryers. Especially the ones where you put your hands down in them. I've seen people wash their hands, they just rinse, they don't use soap, they got their hands inside those, they're shaking them, they're putting all their fecal matter and contaminants in the air dryer. So you go over, stick your hands in there, turn that thing on, it's blowing all the fecal matter all over you. I've seen people put their face down there. Boom! Really? Same thing with the ones that blow from the top. I've seen people cup their hands around it, the kids play with them, and then you go under in the locker room. I've seen people let it dry them. Oh my God. Alright, avoid the air dryers no matter where you are. If they don't have paper towels, I do as best I can. I'll put my hands inside my sweatshirt, I'll wipe them off. Or I walk around the store. I'm just not using the air dryers. Maybe I go in, roll off some toilet paper and do it, but No air dryers, okay? Avoid the door handles if you can. I am always, I'll take my sleeve of my shirt and I grab the door handle. Or if I go to the post office and I have an envelope, the envelope grabs the door handle and I pull it. Anything but my hands. That's something new that I started a few months ago. But usually I've just left the gym. I'm getting ready to go eat breakfast somewhere, maybe do something I just don't want to have. I'm very healthy. I don't worry about it. But I'm doing it. So it's not a bad practice to have. I saw a lady in Walmart yesterday. She opened her purse, took out her hand sanitizer, squirted it on the rail of the cart, wiped it down with her own handy wipes, put everything back in. Away she went. Yes, they have them there, but if they don't, she had her own gear. She was an elderly woman. She probably figured it was the best bet for her to do that. Because let's face it, the overwhelming majority of the people who have had serious complications or death from the beer virus were elderly or already with substantially compromised immune systems. I haven't heard of anyone under 15 or 12 with not fully developed immune systems getting sick or dying. There may be, but I haven't heard about it. They'd make a big deal of it if there was. Seems to be predominantly older people, people with compromised immune systems, and people who had very close contact with someone who was infected. So, while we can't avoid people altogether at this point, we can take the precautions we need to. I did see someone wearing a mask the other day walking around Walmart. I don't know if they were sick or if they're being extra cautious for themselves. Everyone's personal choice. At some point we're going to have to decide. Because whether we like it or not, it's going to affect us. You've seen the economy the last few days. Well, there's much more coming. Everything that you're buying now, food, toys, anything that comes from China, that's all stuff that was already made before the virus hit and was in warehouses maybe here. Very shortly, all that stuff's going to start running out because, one, they're not making anymore in China. Even if they have some made, it's not allowed to ship over here. And it's pretty soon the shelves are going to start getting empty. And then you're going to start to really feel the effects. Because if stores aren't selling stuff, they don't need as many employees. You see the stock market with all the fear-mongering that's been going on by the left side of the political aisle and the fake news who have their own agenda. It's having an effect. 3-4 days in a row. Boom, boom. And yesterday, Saudi Arabia and Russia decided they want to have a little oil war. So that's dropping stocks. It hasn't peaked yet. The coronavirus, beer virus, has not peaked yet. And the stock market, this one's going this way, this one's going this way. At some point, they're both going to hit a spot where they stop. And then this one will start going this way. And I don't know if this one's going to start coming up. Inflation's going to skyrocket as it keeps going down, which makes everything more expensive, if there's anything to buy. Are we going to have a recession? Or a depression? A depression now would make 1929 look like a hiccup. There was none of the modern technology, the worldwide global economy, none of that stuff like we have now. And my opinion is it's all by design to make the president look bad for the election. I think it'll boomerang. I think there's enough people out there that are awake. I think more people are realizing that the left will do anything legal or illegal to try and get this president removed or to get back in power. Okay? My personal opinion. I believe this virus has a lot to do with it. My personal opinion. doesn't really matter what, where, how I believe about the virus now. It's going to affect me regardless. Just because of everybody else's panicking. So I have to take steps to ensure that me and mine are going to be protected. And that's what I hope I'm doing. Now, I have an infirmary. 10 by 12. I'm trying to solidify it so that there's no air that is able to get out of it. I can put 2 isolation rooms in there. And I will have to move the outhouse portion, which was half of that infirmary, to another building that I have. Because if 2 people get sick, I had only planned on 1 person being contaminated and in quarantine. And if you have more than 1, I don't necessarily want to put them in the same room. Odds are good it's not going to happen. I could self-quarantine them in their own quarters and then distribute their people to other quarters until it's done. But that's something you need to think about if you have a group or you're joining a group. What do they have for medical facilities? What are they planning if someone gets sick? Not with a physical injury like we discussed, that we know what it is and we just take care of it. But that we need to isolate them for a few days. Most places, they're not going to have 2 infirmaries. So, I'm doing the best I can on that. I actually have a cottage a quarter-mile back in the woods where I could bring someone to isolate them. And it wouldn't have to be a sealed, because they're so far away, but someone would still have to go there daily to check on them and have to do all this gear. And then they could get undressed outside that building, bag and tag everything, have an outdoor shower right there, rinse off, and then come back to the rest of the group. Which I can do here also. But I just wanted to show you what the setup would look like and discuss a few more ideas about what we need to do to prepare. I think you all realize that we really need to be stocking up food, water, beans, bullets, Band-Aids. If it gets as bad as it appears it's going to be and you live in a city or a town, in a very short period of time after a lockdown, those neighbors of yours that laughed at you getting prepared, they're going to come knocking. You got to protect what you have worked so hard for. I know I'm fully prepared to do whatever I have to do to protect everything that I've worked for, myself and members of my group. And I believe they're all the same mindset. We have to be. Don't want to? We'll do everything humanly possible to avoid doing what I hope to never have to do. But if it's me or them, so be it. So, with that, thank you for watching part 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment, questions. We get a few more people that like some videos, and then I can send a message out to everybody, and maybe we can do a little live stream Q&A one night for about an hour, just with any questions people have, plus a topic that I'm going to bring up. And there can be questions about that or anything. I think it'd just be cool to have some interaction. I won't be able to see everyone. I'll be able to see your comments and everything. But, yeah, that's a way for people to be more involved and get answers almost instantly to their questions. So with that, I'm going to keep this one short, and we'll talk to you soon. JT signing out.